Hello, welcome to the news. With me today, I have a panel of guest experts to help us decipher the news. Hello, experts.
Hello.
Let's get to it. Due to the national emergency, the government have announced that there will be no more fun. None. Fun must end. We had fun, it got out of hand, and then we must remove fun from society in order to survive. People run from fun. In fact, don't run. People enjoy running. What don't people enjoy?
Crawling.
Crawling can be fun. The army enjoy a good crawl.
Crab walk.
No one enjoys a squatty crab walk. So it's decided. Everything must be done from side to side. Crab walk away from fun. The next problem. Talking is fun, engaging, and brings enjoyment. How do we disrupt conversation?
Wind tunnels.
Wind tunnels?
Yes, all conversations must be held in a wind tunnel, at opposite ends, limited to 2 people at a time, because waiting is no fun either.
A double whammy of despair. Well done. Next on the agenda is food. Food is fun. This is an age-based problem. Children can now be punished with death for playing with their food.
And what about adults?
Flavour is enjoyable.
Well then, it's simple. All nutritional content will be removed from the food, and blended sludge will be the only option.
Another double whammy. People don't have fun when they're emaciated and feeling like crap. We are really on a roll here. I'm really enjoying... Oh, shit.
Fun is done. Fun is done.
New record numbers of boredom are being reported. Boredom is at an all-time 90% high. The 10% still having fun consists of train spotters, prisoners, stamp collectors, and Donald Trump. Why do you think he tweets so much? So everyone's bored, and to those people who say you only get bored if you're boring, I'm tired. Leave me alone, please. Boredom has been linked to death. Only 50% of deaths are exciting. Bullet death, falling from a great height, and so on. But the other half are natural causes, aka being bored to death. Nothing is more natural than having nothing to do, waiting for the end. Death is a sweet release from the constant need to not be boring. So how do we combat a silent assassin? Usually with noise. Fire always beats fire, as they say. But not this one. We must remain vigilant and busy. Are you not entertained? And according to the latest report, I am to be stoned to death for attempting to spread mirth. Well, I guess I got what I deserved. At least I won't be bored. Hello, I'm Pete Jambon. Prepare yourself for news. Due to current events, we are going to be doing workshops on how to survive what used to be everyday events, which have now become insurmountable obstacles. Up first is travel. Traveling through time, fine. However, if you go from point A to point B, then you are a disgrace. The virus follows you, much like that movie about an STD that becomes a shadow person. Now I see it was a warning, and we must take lessons from these modern parables. Now there is an issue. Usually, you'd pass it on, have sex. But that is enjoyment, and I will not stand for it. Have a Catholic mindset. Any enjoyment is wrong, and if you have sex before marriage, or not solely to create a human life, then your bits will fall off, or something equally as logical. Anyway, back to travel. Like the movie, but unlike the thing, it cannot be killed by fire. However, your enthusiasm for food can be, by burning everything on a barbecue. A top tip for not enjoying food. So how do we get to locations we need to be at whilst not spreading this evil cleansing? The answer is simple. Don't. Do not move. Stay exactly still or it will find you and it will make you feel unwell. The only acceptable travel is in a zob, a giant plastic ball which is usually used for entertainment, such as flinging yourself down a hill. But when you have to build momentum inside a giant ball by yourself, it's no fun at all. It can literally be an uphill struggle. Now some may say this is out of self-interest. Not at all. I am not a fan of zorbing. My company, however, is. Zorbs are us. Get isolated on the go.
Are you
looking for load-bearing beams? Because you found them. We got loads over here, bears in the corner, and beams in that direction. You want things that are actually totally unrelated parts of things that you want? Well, we got tons of them. You want pilot lights? We got pilots in little cages and lights. The brightest lights known to man. Find your children and pets. Teach them the true value of the gift of sight. That's why we're going out of business, because no one wants what we do. Maybe you do. Please come on down and save mine and my family's life at Papa Funky's Stuff Shack.
Tinder is somehow less popular and more popular than ever. Some say that still interacting with attractive people and having hope is useful. Other people argue that Pornhub is just as effective. This just in, rubber gloves and lube selling as a pair is now at an all-time high. Obviously, you can't get it all into a restaurant. Oh, that gives me an idea.
Restaurants outside doors.
That's quite a large investment. Ah, yes, well remembered. Restaurants are, of course, banned now. We all know that delivery drivers are being stretched too thin, and that we need a way to collect food and supplies. Don't worry, there is a way. Install a bank-like hatch in your Zorb. Money out, goods in, no contamination. Unless, of course, the person you interact with has the virus, or someone with the virus touched any item or equipment used in the preparation. Or the virus could sneak in while you're imagining your only meal of the day. Sweet, sweet kebab shavings. To save on food, we will now abstain on shavings when food cannot be mulched. Anyway, back to Tinder. Not so popular since people can no longer get together. Probably unconnected, but incest is at an all-time high. Suppose when you're locked in the house for a week, even the animals begin to look attractive. So relationships have to change. No contact with any living thing means that we now need non-contact options. We are very lucky to have just a man in our time of need. Hello, Mr. Sting. Are you there?
Yeah, right. Aye, I am Sting.
It's nice to meet you, sir. Now, we all heard about your antics during your heyday, but what I want to know is, did you play I'll Be Watching You at your wedding?
No. The only time I ever played that in public was actually at my restraining order hearing, and roughly 756 times from a boombox outside my ex's window before that.
Fascinating. So the real reason that you're here is to impart your wisdom about tantric sex.
Well, I initially got in it because I was disgusted by my skin. If I could, I'd have none. Maybe just some sort of Zorb-like plastic protection over me innards.
Like a Zorb, you say? Thank you, Mr. Sting. If anyone at home needs any more advice, here is the home address, phone number, and email address of Sting, or as he's better known, the man with 4 names, as it's common knowledge that his name is actually God Matthew Thomas Sumner.
You what?
Of course, a big topic of the moment, possibly most important of all, is cleanliness. We are being told that this is how to stop infection, and while I much prefer isolation and mass calls, being clean is, admittedly, slightly easier. Most of us can admit that we don't wash our hands as often as we should, thoroughly enough, or even at all. So let's tackle each of these points. To wash your hands more, it must become a habit. To make it a habit, we must practice. Carry a doll. Shove its hands down the toilet and wash until sufficiently clean. Do this every 20 minutes. After a week, you have the technique down and an unhealthy amount of OCD. 2 points in one. Efficient. Just like how we're being instructed to wash our hands properly. The length of a song. Now, while some think that happy birthday is enough, it's not. This is dependent on your levels of interaction. You must use the correct song for the correct job. For those of you who have minimal contact, use Nothing Else Matters by Metallica. 6 minutes and 26 seconds. And if you get too into the lyrics and miss a spot, then you must start again. For those of you working in front-facing jobs with the public, we suggest Pink Floyd's Atom Heart Mother. 23 minutes and 41 seconds. And for those in critical positions, doctors, nurses, carers, and so on, we suggest the 1-hour version of Howard the Alien, which is currently being pumped constantly across entire hospitals who are dealing with the outbreak. A nice rhyme to remind us how thoroughly to clean our hands is, if you can't see the bone, you're not allowed home. Now that a full quarantine has taken effect, people worry about an income. Those who are in non-essential work have been torn from their livelihoods through no fault of their own, will have to look for other means. Here's a few tips. Crime. Few industries cannot or will not stop. One of these is crime. Less people on the streets mean less opportunity for muggings. Stop avoiding dodgy areas on your one walk a day. You're taking food from the mouths of crack babies. Please take a minute to think about those more devious than yourself. Old people. As this virus affects the old and the infirm, natural selection as we like to call it, there will be a lack of age to share wisdom. Become an old person impersonator. Flower in the hair, old people clothes, and a cane should do the trick. Spread wisdom such as, "When I was a kid," or "Your face will stay like that if the wind changes." It's a truly useful service in these times. Lastly, an alarm. Do you have elderly or technophobic neighbours? Help them out by becoming a human alarm clock. Take bookings and scream at the top of your lungs in an undulating fashion to gently wake those around you. And that's been the news. Thanks to our guest, Mr. Sting, and the experts. I've been Pete Jambon. You've been wonderful, probably. I have no way of knowing. And a special thanks to our reporter, Bob Jenkins, whose attempt at spreading joy was, of course, his downfall. Let that be a lesson to you all. Good night.
Written by David Isaac, starring David Isaac, Ross Gibbons, Michael McGinn, and Jamie Morrison, with music by Ben Sound and Twisterian. Scripted by Jamie Morrison, with additional dialogue by the cast.